Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I know it's been quite a while since my last upload. I do apologize, and I think last video I said the exact same thing. I have a ton of content. I'm not lacking for content to potentially upload. It just, life and everything just kind of gets in the way, and, I could just upload just a straight video without doing this intro and outro and all that stuff, but I enjoy doing this part of it, and I think it adds a little bit more than just throwing up match footage. Hopefully adds a little bit more that you guys enjoy watching. So enough of my rambling. So we have a practice doubles match for you today, which is myself and Manish versus Ben and Nick. We've seen all four of us on the channel before. I think we may even seen these matchups before. It's possible. I know plenty of times in practices we've done this. So the one thing is I've never actually, up to this point at least, beat the Rindos in a full match. So that's always been kind of a bucket list thing on the team, is trying to get a match win against those guys. So we'll see how this turns out, and I will see you at the end. All right, welcome into the match. We have Nick serving here, and Ben is his partner at the net. And yes, they are brothers, and they're both very tall. I am returning on the deuce side in the bright neon yellow, and Manish is there on the ad court in the white shorts. So yeah, we have seen all these players on the channel in several different capacities, and we were just kind of doing a practice, but also kind of seeing where Manish and I may fall in maybe the pecking order of the doubles lineups that we have for our USTA team. And playing against the Rindos is always a good measuring stick on how well we're gonna maybe do in the match, in match play, and just within our team. They had routinely been a solid one doubles team through kind of COVID and time and everything. They still can do well at one doubles. Definitely a very strong two doubles team. So wanna again see where Manish and I maybe stack up against them. But beyond that, there's not much more we need to know too much about all our games here. We all know each other incredibly well, and that really adds another level to this matchup, just because we all know how each other play, and we're not going to really kind of surprise anybody on the court, really, to be honest. But in this match, I remember putting a lot of pressure on myself because, as I mentioned at some point in the intro or outro, I'll mention it here, I've yet to beat the Rindos in Ben and Nick in any match play. I've taken a set off of them, but not a full match. And that's always in the back of my mind because, as we all know, I'm a very competitive person. And even in these practices, I take them incredibly seriously. So definitely want to do well here. And with Manish serving for our team, I always feel we should never get broken. And we just got broken. Manish's serve is too much of a weapon, and I feel like I can do a lot at the net. But that just really shows how well Ben and Nick knows our game and can return very well. Especially against Manish's more difficult serve to handle. So this is starting off as kind of a weird commentary. I don't know where I'm rambling and ranting and going on, but this match was played so long ago. I'm so far behind on content, so I'm trying to remember a little bit about this match. I just know that I really took this match pretty seriously because I really wanted to do well. I feel like I was on an upward trajectory of just improving in general at tennis, and every time I get on the court, I'm trying to prove myself that, yes, the time I'm logging in and everything is improving and doing well for my game. So if it doesn't start feeling that way, I get frustrated. And if it does, I'm feeling on cloud nine. So we can see here we're starting off in a deficit, already down a break, but putting up a fight here at 40 all against Ben's serve. I do remember on this day I was struggling against Ben's second serve. It just kind of hangs up higher than I'm used to a ball. Like, it's not kicking up high. It's just like, it's not like a hard kick where it's like projecting up fast. It's just bouncing up high, and I had trouble kind of matching pace and keeping it in the court. So already down 0-3 at this point, so definitely not a great place, especially with me serving. We all know I'm probably the easiest person to get broken amongst the four of us. But again, just trying to put as much pressure as we can on them and hope for the best, because if at any point we could find some weaknesses, it's a little bit off the return sometime, especially if they take just kind of a game off or not. So that's the only way we can kind of get lucky against them. Definitely put in a bad potential lob there. That didn't look the greatest. Nick coming up with some pretty good forehands, and then Manish gets a nice put away there. Typically off of the serve, I try to pick on Nick's forehand. I think he would say his backhand's worse, but he does a backhand lob return that's difficult to deal with. So I think I get more errors off the forehand against him. And then Ben, when he's on, he's just on returning. So it's kind of not really easy to pick on a particular side against him. Sometimes it's the forehand side. I think sometimes that can be a little bit more inconsistent off the return. But if I remember on this day, he was just on both wings. So, all right, well, let's see this play out a little bit, and then we'll get back into it a little bit later. All right, well, that was a huge break there. We're spiraling pretty hard, and Nick is such a difficult person to break that it was kind of amazing that we actually got the break off of him there. But now we have Manish's serve. So again, as I said earlier, we should never be losing Manish's serve. The only thing is if he double faults quite a bit, but outside of that, we should be winning his serve almost every time. So no real excuses to not hold his serve. Unless there's unforced errors, which unforced errors I don't count as excuses, as real excuses. Those don't count in my book. But and Ben putting some good volleys in there. Those were kind of tough to dig out, especially when Manish is hitting a little bit harder and flatter off the forehand side. But already getting a break point off of Manish's serve. So again, at this point, I feel like we're failing. We should definitely always be ahead when Manish is serving. But I think in that service game, he threw up 2 double faults there, so it's kind of hard to battle up against that. So now we're in the tough spot of having to break to stay in it when we really haven't shown much of a fight returning at this point. All right, so we lose that set 1-6. So at this point, we definitely have to throw that just out, throw it away. Everything we did was not good, except that one kind of miracle break of Nick. So it's hard for me to do that, kind of do a clean slate, like let's reset, restart, and figure out what to do next. But that's what you got to do, especially when it was that messy of a first set. But you always hope you can only go up from there at that point. So we start off with Manish serving, and we're at 30-all at this point. So they're still putting a lot of pressure on Manish's serve, which again I don't see a lot when I'm playing with Manish, so it's always kind of weird and frustrating when that happens. That ball landed in somehow, which is crazy. That crazy side spin lob thing landed in, but luckily that didn't end up hurting us, and we go 30-all, 40-all, and now we have an ad. And this is where Manish puts in a great forehand, and we get the hold. There. So already starting off better than we did in the first set, matching the score line. So confidence is a little bit higher at this point. And one thing you can notice is we did switch sides returning. So typically Manish prefers to return on the ad side. But I'm also a person that prefers to return on the ad side. I think I'm stronger on that side. So we figured it couldn't get any worse, so we might as well try to change things up and see how it works out. And we ultimately didn't get the break there, but put up a decent fight. And now you can see one thing. I think Ben made a comment about me not serving volleying in that first set, so I'm like, all right, screw it, I'll serve and volley. But I think I only serve and volley against Ben. Nick is just so good at lobbing that I always think it's just not worth it. So that's why I always stay back against his return. But typically, if you serve it to his forehand, he doesn't lob the forehand as much as the backhand return. But still, I just don't like risking it. Ben putting up a pretty good lob there. Luckily, I get to it. And now we're at deuce. So at least they're not completely destroying my serve at this point. And I'm up an ad, which, hooray. Put in the serve and volley, get the error off of Nick, and I get the hold. So we're already doubled the score of the first set. So again, just making progress. you kind of wonder, is it really us playing better, or did the Ben and Nick, like, after just dominating that first set so much as they did, are they just kind of easing back a little bit, maybe a little bit less focused than they probably would be if it was a tighter match? Hard to tell. Maybe they can comment on the video and let us know what they were thinking at this point of the match. That'd be kind of fun. Throwing in a comment. You're gonna get a plead for comments later in this video, so don't worry about that. But all right, we're at 2-2 and making it at least a decent fight. And I put in. Oh, I was gonna stop there, but that was such a terrible shot on my part. You can't do that in this tight kind of match. You can't give Ben and Nick anything because they'll just take advantage of it. So, all right, I'm gonna shut up here for a little bit and we'll get back at it. All right, so we had just ugly series of events there. So we're already down 2-5 at this point. So fighting for our lives at this point in the match, much like in that first set. And now we have to somehow break Ben's serve. And puts in a good serve and volley there. And I somehow elicit an error off of Ben. So, and I got lucky there. And I didn't follow in my return, so that's unusual for me at that point, but got away with it there and made away with the point. So we're up 40-15 at this point in the service game, so that definitely puts in a decent spot and puts some pressure on Ben to really put in some good serves and make it challenging. And Nick gets an overhead error and we get the break, so that definitely again puts us in a decent spot with Manish serving, and hopefully we can dig our way back into this set. All right, it'd be a very unusual circumstance where we break Nick again. So bring it to 5-all. So being down 2-5 there, and we scratch and claw our way back up into this match. So we have my serve, which again, it's always very iffy at this point of things if I'm gonna hold or not. Again, I don't have the big powerful weapon, but I'm busting out the serve and volley. Manish, you see, volleyball rules should count, to be honest. I really think that in tennis, at least in doubles tennis, you should be able to bump set spike, but that's not the case. And of course, down above 40 on my serve, so I'm very frustrated right now, serving very quickly. Don't serve and volley, and yeah, I'm playing a frustrated game there, but get a good overhead. I think my overheads have been slightly improving. I mean, they're not killer shots that are clear winners, but I kind of curved the ball in tough spots for the opponent to really do a lot with it. So been doing better with those, which has been good. So down low 40 and get it to 40 all. So how quickly things can turn in a service game. Get the approach shot, and Nick hits the ball out. So kind of got lucky there. I was kind of kamikazing my way in to the net, so I don't know how well I would have performed hitting an actual shot there. All right, Manish doing a lot of work at the net, and get an out ball there. So again, doing what I can, fighting, hitting a good shot, and actually holding. So this is either we're going to win the set or go to a tiebreak, which is very exciting with where we started off the match and then getting down 2-5 at that point. So Manish and I doing what was need to be done to apply as much pressure as possible on Ben and Nick. And them gifting us some errors, to be honest. There were some balls that probably should have been winners or putaways for them that we just kind of got some lucky errors off of. But that's, at this level of tennis, you're kind of expecting that quite a bit. Looking at the stats on Swing Vision, notice that the unforced error column is always the largest column for pretty much all of these matches. So that's kind of what you get. Most points are going to end off of an error at our level. All right, so we're down 15-40 at this point. Not looking the greatest for us to be able to just take this set. Nick put in a great shot. I didn't do enough with my volley, so now we're at a 10-point tie break for it all. So let's see how this plays out, and we will see at the end. All right, so we don't want to talk about that first set. The first set was nothing. We'll just pretend it doesn't exist. Second set, we put up a good fight. I think We definitely, we switched sides, returning, which is very unusual for when Manish and I play together. So yeah, typically, Manish doesn't like returning on the deuce side in doubles. But we said first set was just so terrible, like we had to try something to break it up. And sometimes even Rick, my co-captain, always says, yeah, if things don't go well the first set, try switching sides, returning, and whatnot. And I don't necessarily think that's always the right thing to do, but especially in a practice match, it's something fine to try to do. And it ultimately ended up working out relatively well for us in that second set, even though we didn't get the win. But then again, the Rindos, they could easily just kind of took the foot off the gas pedal a little bit in that second set and kind of let us in a little bit. After beating somebody so bad like they did in that first set, it's kind of a natural thing, like, this will be fine. Especially if they're switching sides and that's like their worst sides returning on, like, yeah, whatever, they'll be fine. So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed the match. I was questioning whether I was going to post this one because I remember post-match, Ben said something about like, oh yeah, this is going to be a good one to post. Or maybe, no, it was Nick. It was Nick. No, Ben wouldn't say that. Ben might say that, but Nick definitely said that. But I am posting it, so here it is. You guys will be the only other 3 watching this video, which is fine. It works. But, all right. Well, I hope you enjoyed, again, this match. Please like, comment, subscribe, all the fun things. The thing that, like, I would love to see is just comments. Comments are fun, and I want to engage with people. I do a lot of this just to, get match play out there, get a voice out there in tennis, and then also just hopefully foster some engagement. What do you think of the match? What did you think of how we played? Anything about the video or any of the match play, feel free to comment on, and maybe I'll reply and we can have a dialogue about it. So really appreciate it again. And yeah, thank you for watching. Hopefully I'll see you again. Just get out there and play tennis.